approval?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Claims are, our next item on the agenda is claims. You have those in front of you, and they were sent to you earlier in the week.
I'll move for approval in the amount of $285,746.91.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is application for operator's license. They have approved, to approve the issuance of regular operator's license for the period of 5/7/13 to 6/30/15. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 people there. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And approve the issuance of a temporary operator's license to be used July 3rd through the 6th, 2013, during the Hudson Booster Days event at Lakefront Park to James Londo at 1727 Laurel Avenue in Hudson. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is a fireworks paraphernalia sales application for Menards, number 30-89 on 1400 Gateway Boulevard, and Fleet Farm of Menominee, Inc. at 1001 Industrial Street, and Target Store, and Walmart, but I can't see where, okay.
TNT fireworks.
TNT, okay.
Move for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Nancy, is this the only ones we've got that we've received so far? Okay. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 6, did I skip something?
Number 4.
4.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Fireworks again, but
Fireworks again. How come I don't have anything in here?
there's nothing in there.
Oh, that's probably why. Application for, consider additional room tax funds or other contributions toward annual fireworks display. Mr. Devon, did we receive anything back?
No.
Not even a yes or a no?
We did not hear back from any of the municipalities.
Okay. What's your pleasure? Anybody want to use room tax dollars and increase it to, I think we just signed contracts today.
Yep.
4.
For 10.
Is that what the dollar amount was? We can amend the contract, I suppose, if they can get that done between now and the 4th of July.
Would anybody entertain a lesser amount?
Well,
Maybe $2,000, and then we could maybe give the senior center $500 to offset the cost of the rent that the Wintergreen charges. Might be a different topic, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
today's, at least action is the
Yep.
fireworks and discussion.
I don't know. I guess I struggle with it a little bit, just because I think we already put on a pretty good show. And if I felt like people weren't coming here because it wasn't very good, it would be different. But it seems like every year is just as big as the year before, weather permitting. And it seems like, it still seems like, I think, a reasonable amount of money to spend for one night.
would you guys entertain it to go full council to talk about?
I have no problem with that. I just have a hard time taking money and setting it on fire and blowing it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a
We're
little.
okay with moving it to
I'm
council?
okay moving
Yeah.
it to council.
I don't think we need a motion or anything, do we? No.
Well, that just goes without recommendation.
Yep. Is that okay?
Just fine with me.
All right. Thank you. Change order for number 2 for the Lake Malibu and Storm Sewer Outfall Improvement Project.
Every time we get a letter from her, we got zeros and dollars on it.
What's that?
Every time we get a letter, she wants more zeros and dollars.
Yep. What do you got, Karen?
Yeah, it doesn't work that way, doesn't it? This is change order number 2 for the Lake Malibu project, and it's for putting a 4-foot high chain link fence around the channel for safety and security reasons for the city. And and also then to put in 5 spruce trees. A Black Hill spruce was recommended by St. Croix Tree Service, and these trees would be 11 to 12 feet tall, and to provide some screening from the homeowners for the fence and the area that's been all dug up with the construction.
Didn't we approve this, this expenditure up to 10,000 at one of the other council meetings? Thought we
It
did.
was talked about, but I don't think we had
Yeah, we
specifics that we
discussed the
approved.
fence previously.
Okay,
I think we talked about
wasn't on the
the change
agenda.
order number 1.
yep,
We discussed this, but it wasn't on the agenda, so we couldn't take action on it.
gotcha,
Right,
okay,
That there was gonna be another change order.
okay.
Well, I'll move to approve the change order in the amount of $7,392.50. Is that the correct amount?
Okay,
$7,390.
Funding to come from,
Funding, what,
Can it come from stormwater?
it can come from stormwater, but I think
Is that-
that should be a matter of record as
Yeah.
to where the source of the fundings.
I think that's a good
come from the
location.
stormwater?
Okay.
Tom, you okay with that? Stormwater? All right. That's what it is, stormwater project. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Update report from engineering regarding submittal of the STP grant application for Vine Street project.
Okay, when, at the March 25th council meeting, I presented our fees to do a grant application for not Wisconsin Street, sorry, for the Vine Street improvements from First Street to 9th Street. And at that time, you directed me to go back and to look to see how much the cost would increase from the feasibility report if we met the state and federal funding requirements, which would be the Trans 75. And on this report on page 3, you're gonna see that the increased cost to do this is approximately $305,000. And that would give you 2 bike lanes on each side, and it would have 11-foot through lanes, and then keep the parking that's currently on the roadway. On the next page, I'm gonna go back a page, you can see the width of the road on table 2. The existing roadway is anywhere from about 37 feet to 31 feet wide. Our feasibility report recommended that we have about a 36-foot wide roadway from back to back. And then if we do the WISDOT standards to meet the funding requirements, we'd be 42 feet wide. And we're able to get that additional width in the existing boulevard. So we can push it back. Right now, our existing boulevard is about 11 feet wide. That's
Fine.
back a curve
Okay.
to the sidewalk. No, on each side.
Really?
Yeah, and that's on page 1. Page 1 has a table that shows the existing boulevard width. So
But we
do-
have trees on there, right?
Yes, we do have trees, and the trees would be coming out. We will be losing a few trees even in the, with the feasibility study widening some of the areas.
Okay.
The additional cost would be approximately $300,000 more. And on the last page of the report, on page 5, you can see the potential savings. That would be how much would be funded by WISDOT and what would be funded by city. We have approximately 2.1 million, WISDOT funding 80%, the city funding 20% would be approximately 1 million with a total project of 3.1 if it's to WISDOT standards. If we do it to the feasibility study, the project was approximately 2.8 million.
What was the feasibility study? How much was the cost on that?
2.8.
No, I mean, for the feasibility, the cost of the feasibility study.
It's for me to look
Yes.
at, okay.
Yep.
It was up
Yep,
4,400
Okay.
max.
okay,
And there's approximately 2,500 left in
okay,
the budget.
all right.
So there's some money left for us to
Nice.
submit the grant application.
Okay. Your thoughts, comments?
Good. Why wouldn't we submit the grant?
Absolutely.
Mm.
At least my opinion
Yeah,
is that,
why wouldn't we go ahead and submit it and see what happens?
yeah,
How much is that total cost?
4,400.
That's it?
Yeah, we'll be able to get it done within the $4,400 budget.
Is there a deadline?
June 28th. And we said in our original work order we gave to the city, we said we'd have it done May 28th we want to get it done early just in case there's a problem with the submittal. Can come back and ask for additional information.
What year would that be roughly? I mean, you're guessing
Yeah,
2018?
probably out that far because this is the 2014 to the 2019 cycle. Is that
Okay.
right, Neil?
I think it is, so.
Right. And, the chances of getting it, could your chances go down a little bit lower because you got Wisconsin Street funding? It's possible, but it all depends on, who's submitting and what the projects are. So it's hard to say if you would get the project or not.
Do we submit anything, excuse me, regarding the current condition of it? Do they look at that?
They look at that, they look at the current traffic count on the roadway, that they have that information.
Okay.
Well, I make a motion that, can I?
Sure.
Go ahead and use the remaining funds for grant submittal.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we have an engineering proposal for the 2013 street improvement projects.
This proposal is for the 2013 street improvement projects that are all listed on the second page of the proposal. It is broken down into 3 different scope of services. One would be the preliminary field investigation. That's where we go out and we look at what curb and gutter has to be removed, what work has to be done on the storm sewer structures, the condition of the roadways. With that information, then we can go into the design work. And the design work, we're proposing to do that on a lump sum basis. And then finally, the phase 3 is the construction phase, and that would be on an hourly basis. We propose that we can get this work done and have a bid opening in early August, and that does put us then starting the construction in late August to early September, but that gives us time then to go through all the public hearings for the assessments.
Have the Public Works, have we agreed on these particular streets, that's what we want to have fixed? Have we come to council with that?
Tom, do you want to talk about the specific streets?
These were streets that I proposed. I don't think there was ever a decision made if we were going to do all the streets. I think it was dependent on monies available.
And what the cost came back
Yeah.
at for the specific. But these are the streets that we're doing the core samples on.
You know,
Yep. Okay.
And I think any engineering that's done at this point is not going to go to waste if it's included in a future year's
Yep.
capital project. There may be some update, but basically we've funded a lot of this, so we will have shelf plans available.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll move we approve the estimated fee at $140,500.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider of renewal of annual alcoholic beverage license. Consider approval of the following liquor license or renewal liquor license applications contingent upon successful completion of building and fire inspections, attending a meeting with the police chief, payment of outstanding debt owed to the city, and payment of 2013 May utility statements by the due date.
But you need to read them, just to
Now, there's a list there.
Are you doing the whole packet, or
I would think so, yes.
then I
There's no
will,
issues with any of them, correct, Nancy?
then I will recuse myself under the Class A.
If there's no issues, we probably can do them as one.
Refer to the issues
Right,
sheet.
yep. As presented.
Questions, comments?
Well, I certainly have a question on one, and I want to be certain that we protect our right to enforce the policies for the liquor licenses. And in the case of the Hanson Brothers Golf Holdings, I happen to go by that almost on a daily basis, and it appears to me that they were closed from November almost through April. They may have had an individual event here or there, but according to the policy we have in place, it doesn't meet the criteria for having a liquor license, as I understand the policy. It's page 145-7.
Okay.
And so my concern is, if we ignore this, we may lose our ability to enforce our policy, and I don't want that to happen.
Okay.
145.7, Catherine?
Yeah, I'm looking
Okay.
at that. I heard you. Thank you.
Well, has there been any additional information given to Nancy?
You mean the continuation of business?
Correct.
Yes, continuation of business.
No.
But
I don't have any additional information about that.
timely startup and continuation, 90 days after the, if it's, the business for which the license was issued is discontinued or not open for business for the purpose of the license for a period of 90 consecutive days or more, being open intermittently for periods of 2 days or less during the 90-day period shall not be sufficient to avoid cancellation under this subsection. So we would need facts showing that they had not been open for business for 90 days, and if there were 2 days here and there, that would not count.
Yeah, and that.
So
that's-
maybe you should pull that one from the approval and look into it.
That would be my concern.
That's under the Class B liquor, Class B beer, Hanson Brothers Golf Holdings. I'd suggest if you want to look into that, pull that one from the approval.
Okay. Everyone okay with that, to pull that?
Yep.
Okay. Anyone else on anything else? Is there a motion to approve all but the Hanson Brothers Golf Holdings?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I will second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have an application of the Hudson Boosters, Inc. for a special event permit for Booster Days in Lakefront Park, and designation has community event. Nancy, anything to,
This is the same as previous years. They're asking for a reduction in the amount of insurance to $1 million to be considered a community event. And that signage be picked up after the event is over.
any comments, questions? I think we've approved this for 5, 6 years in a row, or has it been longer than that for a community
I think
event?
it was the first one that we had an application for when we put the policy in place for needing a large assembly permit, so.
Okay,
I'll move for approval.
is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Nancy, stand right there. Application of North Country Gold and Silver for a pawnbroker license at 1920 Crestview Drive. Just talk a little bit about, I don't think we have any pawnbroker license, do we?
This is the first application that has been submitted to the clerk's office that I'm aware of for a pawnbroker license. They included a cover letter that they said that they're interested in doing short-term loans for pawning gold and silver. They would provide the $500 bond if council approves the application, so it could be made, approval could be made contingent on receiving that $500 bond with no fewer than 2 sureties. As far as what articles or things that they would be allowed to pawn, it includes a longer list than what they're saying they're interested in having, but the license would still allow for those things. I've sent it around to the different departments, building inspection, community development, city attorney, fire inspector. I didn't hear back from any of them that there were any concerns of any kind that would, so that they would think that it couldn't be issued.
Okay. Comments, thoughts, questions? Is there a motion for approval? I'll make the motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Now discussion.
Is there any indication that this is to help the business, or would they close, or something going wrong, or?
It was my understanding from talking with them that people have been asking for it. So they, instead of them just buying the gold or silver that people have, the people just want to get, they're saying that people just want to get a loan and get their, property back after whatever time period and paying whatever amount is agreed on.
Okay. Any other questions or discussions?
I'm just kind of worried the endless possibilities. We end up with a junk store up there and stuff. I mean, do we have a policy or an ordinance in place besides a nuisance property?
Well, I think we have we have a pawnbroker regulation, so
Yeah, we do.
this meets the criteria. I think there's some.
I mean, how big and fast and how far does this go?
Well, if you read what it says, all articles can be pawned. At this point, they wanted just for the gold and silver, but
That's my understanding, but we also
But-
can't limit it.
no, that's correct.
No, the ordinance says if they meet the criteria, the license shall be issued. I mean, if they're causing problems in terms of traffic or crime or something, but if they're just operating as a pawnbroker, there's nothing unlawful about that.
Does that answer your question or not?
So,
Okay.
I just, what kind of businesses do we want in Hudson? I guess that's a question, and I don't like to not have it come in, but I also would like, to be assured that we don't bring in something that could potentially change into something different than what the original concept was created for.
Well, I think they've come in and applied under our pawnbroker license to say, we'd like to get a pawnbroker's license, and they've met the criteria for that, and unless we don't have pawnbrokers in our city, unless we say we don't want to have them, then we'd have to get rid of that ordinance, I believe.
Yeah.
I could also point out that it is it's a calendar year license, so it would be something that would have to be applied for every year
Okay.
and considered.
Other cities have adopted, with respect to pawnbrokers, businesses have adopted ordinances that require them to participate in a kind of a computer tracking of the articles they take in and who they got it from, and many law enforcement agencies are connected to that, I guess. And that's a way of making sure that it's a properly run ordinance. And the city could consider adopting something like that.
Do you participate in the automated pawn system our police department does?
I don't think,
Yes.
oh, we do.
We do.
But we don't require Marty and I talked about.
We don't have any businesses here, but anything that's reported stolen gets reported into the automated pawn system and with photos. So we in River Falls both participate in that.
But I think the key would be to have the pawnbroker businesses also participate, so that would
Yes.
close that link.
They are in there.
They said they do. I don't know if, I did discuss it with Chief Jensen, and he was going to make contact with them to see if they did or not. We don't require it right now.
We don't. They do have a computer software. They're not part of the APS system.
Oh, okay.
They did tell Detective Williams, I sent him out there to talk to them, and they said that because it was so expensive, they don't do it over in Minnesota. They're not part of that system, but they do have a software program that they do to use for themselves for tracking, because under the ordinance, they have to hold on to it for 21 days and maintain it at the facility in case we come across something that's stolen and we can come in and check their records. So that's what they maintain. That might be something we would like to look forward to in the future if we decide to go forward with more of these, is to update that ordinance and say that anybody who's going to be a pawnbroker in the city from now on needs to participate in that system.
Right.
So that we can check it, because I believe all the pawn shops in Minnesota are required to be part of that system. So, and we're connected to it.
Don't they operate one in Minnesota?
They do operate one in Minnesota, but I'm not quite sure exactly how they go, but, you know, they do in gold and silver over in Minnesota. That might be different than a pawn
Yeah.
shop.
Okay. Comments? Thank you, Chief. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Update from IT coordinator on costs of computer equipment for council members. Mike?
You all have a copy of the issue sheet. You had asked that we look at having some kind of automated system for the council to use that would allow for updates for agendas. And I've looked at three. There's a fact sheet there. And I looked at pad devices versus laptops, primarily because of cost and maintenance. We looked at the iPad, Samsung, and Lenovo. As you can see, the Samsung is the lower price. I'm recommending that we go with the iPad for two reasons. One, it's far easier to maintain, to train, to use, and we would have to get two extra devices if we went with the Android machine for IT, so the cost would be very close. As far as numbers, we talked about 10 for the council, city attorney, city administrator, the mayor, and the clerk. I would also recommend that the finance director be included in that.
So 15, what, how many did you say?
If we go with iPads, 11. If we go with Android, 13.
Okay. What did you say, Lori?
I want one. It's a lot
If
of
you're
paper.
interested, this is the exact setup. There's an iPad in here set up with the city, the software we would put on it. So if you want to take a look at it. Or if it was an Android, I would suggest basically the same configuration.
I would stay with the iPad, seeming how it seems to be more well-known, more so, and yours supported it.
We have about 15 right now in the city that we support. Most of the cities, I put some quotes from 3 cities.
Is it tough to
They're
get
all
open?
tough. It's not
I don't want to break it because I usually break them.
And most
I have one
places
in the
have
heart.
gone to iPads.
It does take a little bit of force, doesn't it?
And then
It's
sits
far
right
easier
in
to
your
maintain and
Okay.
to train and to keep up in any way.
Okay.
Where would you find the fund?
Well, that,
Well,
I guess if there's interest in us going forward, we would then have to, we'll go back and, you know, try to determine funding source for it. But kind of wanted to gauge everybody's interest in it.
The average payback has been 18 months to 2 years. When you take out about 50,000 pages printed, the time, the delivery.
So basically what would happen would be the agendas would be uploaded to the cloud, if you will, and then everything could be pulled down from there. If the system would be set up so you can make notes right on the PDF, right on the screen, so that you can make those decisions, you know, if you wanted to write notes on it. If you wanted something printed, we certainly could do that if there was something that you wanted to actually have a hard copy of. But
And I do have a printer that I would set up in the corner that is configured to print from the iPad, so if you needed a copy of something, you could print from anywhere in the building.
But it was something that was discussed, we thought we'd bring it forward, and if you want to go forward with it, we would
Well, I think
find the
it's time.
funding source.
I think it's time we get up with the 20, whatever century we're in.
How about 21st?
22nd.
I'm in favor of moving forward with it.
I like the idea. I
Okay.
think it's the right direction to move.
We can save a few trees too.
Pardon?
Save a few trees.
Yeah.
We could save a few trees anyway, but.
Lori, you don't like it?
Thanks.
Huh?
Yeah.
No,
No,
okay,
I mean, I'm still gonna wanna print stuff out. It's just, I'm gonna be printing it out.
okay.
Well,
Yeah.
we would, if there were specific things, we would still do that, so it wouldn't be a
Yeah.
cost to the,
Yeah, but I mean, it's just, I like having
right? What-
paper I can make notes on and.
But if there was
Sorry.
something specific, we would print it out and we would get it to you, so.
And
that
then we'll
would
be paying for updates and, you know, I'm not sure we're gonna save money in the long run, but,
Okay,
so I'm not.
Lifespan on these is 3 years.
Yeah.
But we'd have an extended warranty for 3 years. And that would be the lifespan of a typical device.
So we're committing to spending this much money every 3 years. That's kind of what I'm hearing. That's a
Wow.
lot of money. It's taken us this long to get this far, and now we're talking, you know, they're only gonna last a term and a half.
I would anticipate that, I mean, they would last more than that. 3 years would be awful
Yeah.
heavy duty use, and I can't, I mean, I've got one that's 5 years old and it's still, you know, I suppose they're dependent use. Could, but potentially you are correct, depending on how they get used and abused.
okay.
I don't know, I mean, we've put so much of the agendas and things online now anyway. I mean, I guess, I mean, I think all of us have computers at home or laptops. I see it as being sort of redundant. Someone tell me where I'm missing that.
I think
mean,
the
I don't
issue
need
is
another
all
machine.
the information that we put out and send out, doesn't have to be written. I think it would be a lot easier to have the computer sitting right here and being able to see what we've got without having the paper. I'm very partial towards the paper too, but I'm willing to try and change a little bit if you want.
Well, do you want a motion or something?
Sure.
Or I'll move that we initially approve the request for the iPad in the amount of the $770.87, but go back, find funding.
Got to bring it back for funding.
Yep.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Can they be programmed so that if you wanted to print something at your house, you could do your own printing at your house?
You can print at your house too.
So if you wanted to print something, you
Yes.
could?
And everything also would be on the website as well. So it'd be that you could also go on the website.
That's, I guess what I'm wondering. Is there anything gonna be on this that's not gonna be on? I mean, there's nothing preventing any of us from bringing a laptop here. That's
Correct.
the way we choose to, and I've never wanted to do that.
The major difference is that with the stylus or with your finger, you can annotate it, mark it up,
That's true.
do whatever you want to an agenda, and save that as you would with paper.
And then we would have a printer in here, so if we wanted to print a copy, we could grab it while we're in our meeting, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
And or like I said, if it was something you knew earlier in the day, we could have copies available.
Okay. Any other discussion on this?
And we're saving 8+ hours for each council meeting?
Yes.
And 46,000 pages per year of paper.
And we're saving the police delivery of the
Packets?
So they
The
would,
time for the staff to put it together, the paper together too.
That means my
Yeah.
dog's not gonna bark at 11 o'clock on Friday nights anymore. But
so it would be here ready for us, is that?
It would be sent out to you.
You would
Agenda, you
keep
would
this
get it.
with you,
Oh,
and we would send the agenda, like I said, to the cloud, for lack of a better term, and then you would just
You
download
just
it.
get an email saying, here's the agenda, and you could do what you wanted with that.
I think that's good to get the cops back on, instead of running after us, huh?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
aye.
Okay, motion carries. Any other agenda items for future agenda?
I would like to add an update on, an issue sheet on the council chambers.
Okay,
Just
what I
initial
gave-
discussion on this.
Yep.
Yeah, but I would like an issue sheet on it, or do you want me to do that?
no,
No, we'll just put together saying you made this proposal and
Okay.
I'll give
have
you this.
initial discussion on it, and
And
we'll
then
get direction.
I'd like to talk about the aging and disability, the senior center. with some room tax dollars.
Okay? Got that for the next agenda? Okay. Anything else? Motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Right.
We're adjourned. Thank you.